Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do an oil change, and I'm going to show you how to do an oil change on a 2017 GT Mustang. So doing an oil change is not hard at all. Oil changes are the most easiest things to do on a car. All it is literally just jacking up the car, pulling out the bolt that holds the oil in, and then remembering to put that back in before you put the new oil in, and changing the oil filter. That's all there is to an oil change. There's nothing really like hard about it. Sometimes like the oil filter can be stuck a little bit, so you gotta fight with that a little bit, but with the right tools and the right stuff, it's always simple. So I believe the tools that we need for this job, you're gonna need probably a 15 socket for the bolt. For the oil filter part, you're either gonna need one of these filters. For my car, I just did. I should have used the 74 14 flute oil filter wrench socket, I call them. I was using this one originally, but this one was not working. So make sure you have the right flute. Flute is the amount of edges here. So count your oil filter edges, and that's how you know how many flutes you need. Best thing I say is probably take the oil filter off your car if you're not doing the car I'm doing. Take it to AutoZone, and they have all these. They have a whole bunch of sizes. So what I have here is I have a 74 flute to take off the stock one. Not stock, it's had an oil change before, so, but I believe it's gonna be this size. And the oil filters I bought, which are AMSOIL, which I'll go over in a second, is a 76 millimeters 14 flute. So these are very handy, but if you don't want to get any of these, or you don't have these, or you don't want to buy them, then you can see if you have one of these. These are adjustable ones. Now the way these things work, you put this around the oil filter like this, and then as you turn it this way, this whole thing here tightens up, and it'll pull the oil filter right. So you can use any of these three options. I like these, but I bought this just in case. Just in case there's any filter that these are not working with, I'll just rip this out and I'll just flop it onto there, and hopefully it'll come right off. Now you're probably gonna need a small socket. So you're probably gonna need either a 7 or 8 and a 10 millimeter, because underneath most cars, newer cars nowadays, especially in this car, there's gonna be probably 4 7 millimeter sockets holding this plastic thing up, and there's gonna be 2 10 millimeters in the back of it. And then this is a little plastic sheet that comes down, and I'll show you guys when we get there. But just so you guys know, just be prepared to have like a 7 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 10 millimeters on hand. But maybe just also depending if you have maybe like a used car, someone just totally messed up the threads or something, which a lot of people do, have like a Phillips on hand, Phillips screwdriver, or like a bunch of like these you have universal ones. Be prepared to have those too, just in case. So if you want the oil to come out the bottom real fast, take this off, and then so when you take the bolt down there off, the oil will just go straight out, because there's nothing, there's air flowing straight down, gravity's pushing the oil straight out. You're also going to need an oil funnel, just to make it a little easier so you're not making a mess all over your engine. So the stuff you're going to have to buy to do the oil change is you're going to have to buy an oil filter. I bought an AMSOIL oil filter. If you go to AutoZone, they have these little books. You just look for your oil filter. You just go open the oil filter book. Someone's there. They'll help you out. It's not that hard. But all you do is look for the make, which is the like Ford, Chevy, Audi. And then you look for the model of the car, which is a Mustang GT. So I'll find Mustang GT. And then you scroll over and you look, and you'll see they'll give you these little numbers here. These little numbers will tell you what oil filter to look for, and that'll be what's inside the book. Now, AMSOIL, you can't buy from a store, you have to buy from online. So if you want AMSOIL, I recommend it. It's a very good brand. The other thing is you're going to need to buy, most likely you're going to buy 1 gallon of oil. I bought a whole case of quarts because it's just easier to count 1 quart, 2 quart. But so you can do it that way, or buy a gallon and buy a top-off quart. But go online, search your car. It'll tell you how many gallons you need for a 2017 GT Mustang, and probably 15 to 17 Mustangs, and probably even the new Mustangs still. The GTs use 8 quarts of oil, and you also need to buy 1 top-off quart just to top off the thing, because the oil fills up in the engine and all the cavities, so you lose like maybe like half a quart of oil. So another thing you want to do is heat up your engine. So start up your engine, let it heat up. So the point of heating and letting the engine heat up is that the oil gets hotter, so it becomes easier to flow. So if you did it cold, the oil will come out a lot slower. So what you do, you let it heat up. Like I said, mine has gauges here, so it tells me, like, you know, oil temp. My oil temp is actually high right now because I drove it before. So, but if you're driving from a cold start, let the engine heat up. Most likely you're gonna let it heat up all the way to where a regular engine, like, you know, where it operates at. But if you've driven already, you came back home, most likely the oil will be up. Let it sit for about 10 minutes, like 5 minutes. If you don't have a gauge like this that tells you the oil temperature, but it'll make it a lot easier to have the oil flow out into wherever you're putting your oil into. Other things you'll need is also just an oil container to catcher. I got one of these oil jug things thrown at the car so the oil catch into. You can also just use like a bucket or something, like a nice little like square bucket. You're also gonna need a jack. I recommend using ponies, they're safer also. So 2 ponies, I'll show you guys where to jack up on this car from. But if you have any other car, you're gonna need to go online, look for your jack points, and look at where you can put your ponies. If you do not know where to put them at all, if you don't know where. So in this car, the jack points are at each corner right here, which most cars are probably going to be on each corners. So since we're going to be doing ponies, we're going to jack up a little further, because if not, on Mustangs, if you jack from where the jack point is, where you would use like your little jack in the trunk if you have it, your jack will get in the way of this and you won't be able to put this where it needs to go. So you go back a little over just so this can fit underneath the cane member. So jack your car up to how you want to go. You can go as high as you want. I like to always give myself lots of room so I'm not like crushed between the car and everything. So I always try to jack it up. I jack up a little higher than. So I got jacked up this. I did one main click on that, and then I just lower down very slowly, because I'm gonna try to align this with the frame. This is the frame I'm talking about right here. What I'm doing is just letting it line up with the frame. All right. So we have landed on the pony. So now we're going to the other side, do the same exact thing. All right, guys. So we're gonna start with these 7mm bolts here. There should be 4 of them, but there's one missing right here. There should be one right here, but it's okay. It won't do too much. But so there's one here, 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 and here. And then there's 2 up now on this car. All right, on my car, there's 2 10mm back here, but looks like I have no clue. But so there's actually 35. There's 5 7mm bolts here. So like I said before, every car is different. Like I said, on my car it was 10mm, but that they could have been changed out for 10mm, or you don't know. So we're just gonna take these out, and I'll catch up back to you guys when we're doing that oil pan. All right, so after you get these bolts out, all you do is there's a little clip here. You just pull down, and it comes right off just like that. And this will expose your oil filter that is right here. Now this is actually, so I probably have to use my adjustable one, not my socket ones, because of how the filter is. I don't think I'm able to get my wrench and a socket, even if I use an extension, maybe a universal, but we'll see. When we get there, we'll look at that more. So put these bolts somewhere we won't lose them. Put the cover with them. So I just throw it like right here. Throw the bolts right on top. And then now you're gonna grab your 15 socket and your ratchet here. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just loosen up to begin with. Just this way. Oh shit, it's on tight. Okay, all right, so broke that seal. What we're gonna do now, I'm gonna get my oil container here. the reason I did it that way was so that I'm not trying to stretch over this thing, trying to take the bolt off. Should be able to just stretch this off a little bit like this. All right, so now it should be hand tight. Now, I don't think I'll be able to do this one without getting soaked with oil. So, it's always a fun thing to try this to do without getting soaked with oil. But this looks like it's just gonna shoot at me. All right. So the oil drain out. So it's not terribly filthy. So it's still clear, but it's dirty. It's dirty oil. Not too bad though. All right. So put the like a oil bolt somewhere we won't lose it. I put it right there with my tools, so I know exactly where it's at. We're gonna go over here while that's still dribbling over there. We're gonna go over here and see what we can do with our tools here. So it won't fit that one, but probably fit. No, it won't fit this one either. All right, so none of these two fit. So what we're probably gonna do is use this guy here. Now the way this works is you gotta see which way is going left and right. So you look at it like this. This is going left, this is going right. So we're gonna try to go this way to loosen it. So put this around here like this, and then just come on. You just gotta twist. Now it's not gonna be the easiest thing with these guys, but all right, so now she should be, yep, she is easy to take off my hand now. So what I'm gonna do oh boy, okay, bring this instantly over here while she just pees a little bit. We're gonna take her out, just let her, she's gonna dribble. There's really no stopping this dribble. All right, so let that dribble out. You let that dribble out, and oh, we're still leaking over there. So in this kind of situation, you want to have like a little extra bucket to put over there. But like I said, usually if you want to be more patient, you can just leave the container over there, let it drip out like it's doing right now. So now that we got the oil filter out, we gotta get our new oil filter here. Wrap her out. All right, guys. So before you put your oil filter in, you should always put some oil around this little O-ring here. So all you do is just dip your finger in your new oil. Come on, where's the oil at? All right, let's drag on the walls. So just drag a little bit of oil around it. You don't have to soak it. Just, just get to where it's like it's this all lubed up. So now we'll install our new one here. Now we're gonna do with this, you're gonna go hand tight. So to go as soon as you can't tighten anymore with your hand. All right, guys, so what I'm doing, you can't really see very well, but oil filter's right here. When I'm doing it, I'm just going from this end here. I'm gonna use my socket. Now what you wanna do is you wanna go a quarter of a turn. So I'm gonna go from here, quarter of a circle. So I should be facing straight down. All right, so I did a quarter of a turn. She is tight. You do not want to over tighten oil filters, because if not, when you do it, take them back off. That will be a pain in the ass next time you get off if you just tighten it hellbound. At this moment in time, you should be go plug up your oil pan here. Plug her back up in there. All right, guys, what you're gonna do here, however how tight it felt before, you always just tighten up to there. So guys, go with it, go to where it's just snug, like right there. So that should be it. She's snugged in there. So when she gets really tight, just go a tad a little bit more and stop right there. You don't want to put that too tight either, or you might strip out the pan, which that's a very bad thing to do. You don't want to do it. All right, guys, so now you're gonna pop your hood. We got should have 8 quarts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we got our extra one right here. So our extra quarts right here. Open. this girl up. All right, so where's her? There it is. Here is our oil. We're gonna put the oil into. Now, all right, so I'm gonna put this in real quick. All right, guys, so we're gonna put this in here just like this. As long as the oil thing's in there, you're good. Like so, like this, perfectly fine. We'll make sure it won't be spilling out. So now, what we're basically going to be doing is just putting quart in by quart. So now you guys get the oil in. We put your cap back on. What we're going to do now is we're going to go back underneath the car, check to make sure there's no drips. Which I don't see any drips on that thing, on the filter. I don't see any wetness on top of that bolt over there. Which if you want to get more in depth, crawl underneath this. Look, it looks dry to me. So what we're going to do now is re-put this thing on. Alright, I just did my last one there, so now we got her all up there. We can now jack down the car. Make sure you have nothing underneath the car so you don't crush any of your tools or anything. You want to just jack up the car, just jack this side up like this. Hit this thing, falls down, pull out. Now it just goes, you want to go slowly down so you don't put too much stress on the body as it hits the ground. So just let it come down slowly. And then you're good to go. Same thing for the other side. Alright guys, so we're done with the groundwork. Now we're going to be going inside the car. And what we're going to do, we're going to prime the engine. Now when I mean prime the engine, I mean what we're going to do is we're going to prime the oil into the engine. So without starting the car itself. So what we're going to do, if you have a manual, hold the clutch down. Hold your gas pedal all the way down. And just like you're going to start the car, press start. Now what this does is, it's not letting any gas go into the engine. So the engine's just cranking. And you just do that like 2 times. And then now you can start it up. Make sure neutral. So in most cars you should be able to do that. Most cars, like I said, hold the gas pedal all the way down and it should be able to start. Other ways too, if it doesn't work that way and you're, like I said, look it up for your car, unplug your ignition, unplug all your ignitions or coils and all that, or if you have spark plugs, take the main coil off, or take the main coil wire off. Anyway, to take away the ignition and just do the same thing just like that. And like I said, the reason you do that is so that you get the oil to get into the engine first before you crank it at like kind of like dry. You're cranking it dry almost, because all the oil came out, so all the pressure, everything that was holding the oil there was just let go. It just let go and just dripped straight down to the bottom of the oil pan. So wait, now what you just did, you pressurized the whole system. Now there's oils in the bearings of the engine, and when you start the car, it's not gonna dredge on the bearing. You're not gonna scratch up the bearing, the crank, the pistons, or nothing like that. Now what you're gonna do, you're just gonna let the car run for like a minute or two, a couple minutes, you know, let the oil heat up. But guys, all right guys, so this is which one is it? This is my top off quart from my car. I'm gonna use that one first, but first we're gonna find out how much oil do we need. So where are we at? We're about halfway up. Our line's about right here at my fingernail. So it's probably about a quarter of a quart, half a quart, right around there somewhere. So we're gonna add my quart in. We're gonna add my quart that I didn't use in my car in, and we'll check it after that. All right, so we have about 3¼ liters of oil in here, so we're gonna add that in. All right, so we're about right up to here right now. I probably add about a quarter to a half of between a quarter and a half a quart of oil. So we're gonna add a little bit more. We're right at the fill line about right here, but we're gonna go up to the dot just to cap it. All right, we just got to the bubble. There you see there's a bubble inside that hole, so that means that we got it. I'm probably just gonna add just literally a smidge more, but other than that, as long as you're up to that fill line, and then if you go over it, go up to this little dot. As long as you're at the dot, you are perfectly good to go. So we are left with about 12 ounces, 3 3/4 liters, and that's about the same. So you put about 3/4 of a quart into it after you put the 8 quarts in. Because I put, I think an extra, I think there's like a quart, there was like a couple liters inside of the other quart I used, my other type of quart from my car. So you probably put about like 8 3/4 of oil into the car. But don't forget to put your cap on here, cap her off, and she's ready for a drive. All right, guys. So we're gonna go for a quick ride, right up the road. Make sure sounds like she's running good. Alright guys, so anyways, what you guys just want to do now, just drive the car around a little bit. You know, if you're not planning on driving it, just drive it around, just get the oil going through it, everything. If you want, go back, check the oil, make sure it's still on top. And other than that, she's ready to go, and your oil change is over. Hopefully there's no cops around. Not I was going that fast, but I don't know what I was saying before, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. I hope you found it informative. I hope it helped you guys out doing your oil changes for this car, just for any car. So if you guys liked the video, please go down and leave a like down below. Comment down below if you thought the video was helpful, anything I could have done better, or anything that you guys ran into in your cars. Also, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Please go click that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. A little extra hit in there.